In the rolling meadows of Wyoming, a chestnut stallion named Spirit was the pride of the valley. His coat gleamed like polished copper under the sun, and his eyes held a spark of freedom that could captivate anyone who looked at him. Spirit wasn't just any horse. He was Caleb's best friend. Caleb, a lanky boy with a mop of sandy hair, had been given Spirit as a foal on his 6th birthday. From the moment they met, it was as if the two shared one soul. Spirit would follow Caleb everywhere, whether he was fishing by the creek, mending fences, or simply lying in the fields, staring at the endless sky. As the years passed, their bond grew stronger. Caleb taught Spirit to race, leap fences, and even nuzzle his cheek when he needed comfort. Spirit, in turn, seemed to understand Caleb's every emotion, whether it was joy, sadness, or the silent fear he felt when his father passed away. Now 18, Caleb faced the harsh realities of life on the ranch. The crops had failed that year, and debts were piling up. He and his mother worked tirelessly, but it wasn't enough. One evening, Caleb overheard his mother sobbing in the kitchen, clutching unpaid bills. He clenched his fists, his heart breaking. The next morning, Caleb made the hardest decision of his life. He would sell Spirit. The idea of parting with his beloved horse felt like tearing away a piece of his soul, but he couldn't stand to see his mother suffer. When Caleb led Spirit to the auction yard, the stallion's ears perked up, oblivious to the sadness weighing on Caleb's heart. A wealthy rancher from another town eyed Spirit with interest. "This horse will fetch a high price," the rancher said, handing over a stack of bills. Caleb took the money, his hands trembling. As the rancher led Spirit away, the stallion neighed, pulling against the reins. He turned his head back to Caleb, his eyes full of confusion. Caleb couldn't bear to look and walked away, tears streaming down his face. Weeks passed, but the money didn't bring Caleb the peace he had hoped for. The ranch was saved, but his heart ached with every memory of Spirit. Nights were the worst. He'd lie awake, replaying the sound of Spirit's hooves and the feel of his warm breath against his skin. Then one stormy night, as thunder cracked across the valley, Caleb heard a sound that made his heart leap, a faint whinny, barely audible through the rain. He grabbed a lantern and ran outside. Through the downpour, a shadow emerged, stumbling and soaked to the bone. It was Spirit. The stallion's coat was scratched and muddied, his mane tangled with twigs, but his eyes burned with the same unyielding spirit Caleb had always known. Spirit had escaped from the rancher, traveling miles through the storm to return home. Caleb dropped to his knees, his arms wrapping around Spirit's neck. "You came back," Caleb whispered, his voice choked with emotion. "You never gave up on me." The next morning, Caleb made a vow. No matter how hard things got, he would never part with Spirit again. Together, they worked the ranch, finding small ways to rebuild. Spirit became more than just a companion. He became a symbol of resilience, hope, and the unbreakable bond between a boy and his horse. Years rolled by, and Caleb grew older, his hair turning gray. Spirit, too, aged, his steps slower but still steady. One crisp autumn morning, Caleb found Spirit lying beneath the old oak tree in the meadow where they had first met. The stallion's eyes were calm, as if he knew his time had come. Caleb stayed with him until the end, stroking his mane and whispering stories of their adventures. When Spirit took his final breath, Caleb buried him beneath the oak tree, carving into the bark the words, "Forever free." Even as time passed and Caleb's own life came to a close, the people of the valley would say that on stormy nights, if you listened closely, you could hear the sound of galloping hooves and feel the spirit of a horse who had loved so deeply that not even distance, hardship, or time could keep him away.